Hey everybody, what's up? My name is Alex, and I am a creative professional. It's a weird way to put it, but I am a professional creator living in New York City, and I'm coming to you from my Manhattan studio space. And today I am going to talk to you about why I am hitting the reset button on my personal brand, my online presence, and just basically how I'm planning to show up digitally moving forward. And in this video, I'm going to kind of explain maybe why you might be interested in this. If I've landed in your algorithm somehow, there's a high likelihood you might be into this because you're probably a creative person interested in personal brand and showing up in a certain way online. And I've been doing this for 15 years. I've been in some form, had a lot of different creative disciplines in my life, but I've been professionally getting paid to do creative work for the past 15 years. Um, and so I have my notebook here, and this is the first part of a multi-part series that I plan on doing here on YouTube. Um, but yeah, and if you're not into this, please leave because we live in a cool moment where there is so much cool stuff on YouTube and on all these different platforms you could go find and feel like you're finding your people. And so my hope here, just kicked my heater. So my hope here is that I really want to find like-minded people, and my real goal underneath resetting everything and hitting the reset button and all this work is to really yeah, find people like me and who are into the same things I'm into and are hoping to build a meaningful, creative, interesting digital world now starting in 2025. And so if that's you, please stick around. If that's not you, go find something else that's awesome that you connect with online. And so I'm going to jump into it. Again, I have my notes here. That's what I'm looking down at. I'm also a little sick, but I was just so fired up to get these ideas out that, yeah, I just wanted to show up even though I'm not feeling great. So let me explain a little bit about who I am. I think me explaining who I am and what I've been doing for a long time could maybe give context to why this might matter to you. So I'm 33 years old, but I've been mostly in audio, but I've done a lot of different things in video as well. But professional, started out in music, started recording music when I was about 13 or 14 years old with my buddies, made my first albums when I was, in my teenage years through high school. Um, when I was in high school, I didn't go to college. A week after I graduated high school, I hit the road and started touring as a touring musician. That's what I wanted to do with my life and with my career, was to do music. And I did that for a long time, and I was struggling, and it was a roller coaster, as you can imagine. So, um, lots of highs and lows. Got to travel the country, which is really, really exciting and really cool. Got to figure out some ways that the business worked, which was also interesting and not as cool. But I got lucky. A few moments. I got a few moments of real luck where around the same time when I was starting to pick up steam as a musician, a few of the music licensing companies started to also kind of pick up steam, where big commercial brands actually started licensing music from independent artists instead of just the big ones. It's like the 2012-ish era, 2012, 2014, like that kind of window of time. Um, and I managed to start making real money as a musician in my early 20s, and that kind of moved me into an interesting place of writing music for film, TV, commercial work, and eventually I kind of hit a wall there. But first off, I mean, me and my wife, we got married back where we're from in New Mexico, and then we moved out here to New York when I was 25, and the real goal was to pursue a career in music for film and television. I'd kind of moved on from the touring musician life to writing and scoring for film and music, or for film and TV. And I got my ass kicked. When we first moved out here, I just got my ass whooped by the city. The level of talent, the level of people out here, it's just so different from where I had come from. And I love my hometown. I love where we come from, but it's a very different beast to go from little Albuquerque, New Mexico to big New York City and suddenly be faced with the most talented people literally in the world at certain things. And so um, for about a year while we were first out here, I was just struggling, barely getting by music wise. I was working with great clients. I had music for Facebook. I had worked with Airbnb. I got like a Super Bowl campaign with Beats by Dre, really big projects, but the cost of living and the light, just everything is so different to where you're working with all these big brands, but even that money is like just barely enough to get by. And this is around like the 2017, 2018 range. So I had some good connections in this universe. And then I started, a lot of these brands and people started reaching out to me and said, like, hey, we know you do music, but you also edit podcasts. And this was kind of the first wave of podcasting getting really big. And so, yes, I did podcasts because I'll just do anything to make money right now. And so, weirdly, the timing was great though. And essentially, I started my own little podcast studio shop where I was editing and producing for different brands and different hosts. And then that ended up leveraging me into a great job in a media company, a big media company at the time. And I was able to, help steer their podcast for a while. And that was like 2 years. And then a wonderful, which is where my current full-time job is, a wonderful company came around, great opportunity. And now I'm a creative producer, primarily making audio content for them as my full-time job. But yeah, so now, and I've been there for 4 years. And so basically since I was 14 or 15 and now I'm 33, in some way, shape or form, I've been making some form of audio content for my living, but then there've also been, sprinklings of video stuff here, my personal work I'll talk about here in a little bit. A lot in video has kind of taken off for me. But yeah, mostly how I make a living is through audio content, creative production. And so through that time, I've also had a YouTube channel, I have an Instagram page, I have a TikTok, and in the past few years, I've actually generated millions of views on these different channels. And I had my own podcast for a while, and certain clips would kind of go viral from the podcast. But then I also had a few video clips that I very specifically produced video to like short form video to kind of go viral, and it worked. And a few years of this, and it's fun. It's addictive to start seeing those numbers, seeing the numbers go up, seeing the subs go up, seeing the follower count go up, the likes, all that stuff. But I can't help that now in 2025, when I look at those pages and I look at the work that is, quote, worked or taken off, it kind of makes me cringe. And it's because it doesn't really feel like me fully. I don't think I've ever been publicly very fully myself online. And I think that it's because I've always felt insecure. And so that's a big reason why I'm coming here now to kind of hit reset, move full circle, is because I found that so many of the biggest moves and mistakes I've made in my career have been from insecurity. And in fact, I think insecurity is such a huge problem in our time and in our day that I'm pretty much devoting most of my energy to try and help myself and people who I connect with online defeat insecurity in their life. And if you stick with me, you'll notice that this is going to be a massive theme. And it's probably going to be the theme that I talk about the most on this channel and in my work moving forward. Because I think it's that important. Now that you have a little bit of my background, a guy who's I've had a lot of different chapters in the creative world. I've had a lot of different iterations of being a creative professional, being a creative amateur, and kind of everywhere in between. I've had a few videos and pieces of content go super viral. Many millions of people have heard my stuff, which is cool to say, but that is such a small amount versus all the work that's just crashed and burned and completely failed, which I've had way more of those in my life. And I think through the years, I've had a lot of experience in kind of figuring out things that I think about creative work and things that I think about for creative people. And I've had a lot of conversations with, aspiring creative people, very successful creative people, kind of everyone in between. And the overarching theme is that almost all of us are battling insecurity. And if there's one thing that's holding us back, it's insecurity in our work. And so I feel I have a mission, honestly. That might sound corny. It might be corny, but I'm kind of corny. I think being corny is kind of cool because it means you care about stuff. Uh, you're passionate about something if you're corny. And I'm corny about helping people defeat their insecurity, specifically creative people, because I think we're in such a strange time online and internet wise that the more people who feel safe and secure in their own skin to share their ideas online and their work online, we're going to fill the internet with a lot better stuff and a lot more interesting stuff. And your life will be a lot fuller and more special, I think. Sorry, I just had a cut because I got way off track. I'm used to like doing really highly engaging short form or highly engaging editorial or highly engaging audio. And so doing this kind of free form chat style is new to me. I'm going to get better at it. So hang with me. But there might be some cuts here and there. Not too many because I want it to feel good and like we're hanging out. But I'm new to this. So anyway, I've come to the place, and here's kind of where I'll land this video, where I do believe that the internet, we've reached the moment where we don't need to be everything to everyone everywhere all at once. That for me, I started examining, where do I feel good online and where do I feel bad when I spend time there? For me, when I spend time on YouTube with long form creators, or when I spend time on Substack with really smart writers right now, these are the two spaces where I feel happiest that I've spent time there. And then when I think of my time on Instagram or my time on Twitter or X or whatever the fuck, that's where I feel most unhappy, are these two platforms. And I think they're fundamentally different in how they're designed. And I think that's a good thing for us to recognize. And so now for me as a creator, I found like, okay, well, if I'm tackling all of this from a place of like wanting to feel secure and defeat insecurity in my creative life, where are the places that I feel most secure? Where are the places that I feel best or most like myself? And I should invest in those, not these other spaces like the short form content drip where people are going to forget you as soon as they saw you. It's like, no, that's a bad way to build an online brand or an online presence, I think, for me as Alex. But Substack and YouTube long form, these are where I want to be because I think that's where I enjoy consuming content the most. And so that's why I'm choosing to do this. And it's a lot more about me feeling peace with where I create and where I invest than anxiety. And there's a lot more peace with hanging out, even if it's way less viral or only a handful of people care about this video, which is probably what's going to happen. I think I'll connect with that handful of people way more deeply than I will with a million people seeing some viral video I make on Instagram Reels or something. And then they don't even remember what I look like after. They don't care about our connection after. So for me, I'm much more interested in the internet as finding like-minded people. We're at the stage where there's critical mass of users on all these platforms. And so for me now, I want to make content that attracts like-minded, smart, interesting people to me and vice versa. And that's the reason why I'm starting over from scratch. All those millions of views, all those videos, they literally mean nothing. And it's actually crazy. It's a very crazy feeling to see a video garnering that many views and to feel nothing because the content of that video means nothing to you. And so that's a crazy feeling, and it's something to examine. And it's something to say like, oh, then that's not really what matters here. Or that's not really what feels valuable here anymore. And so with that, I am looking for creative people who are growth-minded, who are interested in defeating insecurity and building interesting things in the world. That is who this channel, my work is for moving forward. And I feel very lucky that I have a great job. None of this needs to be monetized. I don't need to make a cent from this. It's just purely looking for interesting people and to build an interesting online presence that feels true to me, that feels genuine to me. Because I don't want to be a circus person. I don't want to be a sideshow to make views and likes and follower counts just go up. What I really want is genuine connection and finding my people, finding my tribe. And that's what I think I'm going to do here. And so, again, and I'm doing that here on YouTube. So please, if you're interested in this, I know it's first video in the series, but please follow or subscribe. Leave a comment if you're feeling brave to kind of talk through this. And if not, that's totally fine. But yeah, this first series, this is me basically introducing myself. I'll be back in a couple of days with the next part of the series, which is all around the idea of desperate creativity. And if you're interested, if you've ever felt like a desperate creative or a person creating out of desperation because you're insecure, you're wanting one of those fundamental foundational human needs like love or attention or feeling validated, which is all of us. If you're a real creative who's tried stuff in the world, that's a real reason why a lot of us create. Please stick around for that second part of the series. And yeah, again, I'm really excited to be here. I'm really grateful if you stuck around this long. And I think this is going to be a really cool, interesting journey. And I look forward to connecting with more interesting, creative people here on YouTube. And you can also, if you're into Substack, you can catch me at Substack, alexsug.substack.com. I'm going to be writing up posts there. I'm still trying to figure it out, but if you want to sign up for that newsletter, helps me as a creator to build that connection with audience and to feel less fear around platform risk and those things. But obviously, I'm just grateful that you've hung out here at all today. And come back in a couple days for part 2 of why I am hitting the reset button on my personal brand and online presence. I'm Alex. Thank you so much for watching.